Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back. Calendar with Droid Life. So I've got on my wrist a Huawei watch. Now, there's something a little bit different on this than most in that it's running Android Wear 2.0, which was announced last week at Google I/O. So Google's calling this the biggest update to the platform since day one, I think, basically, and they've changed a lot of stuff. So we thought we'd take you on a tour. This is a first look at Android Wear 2.0. All right, so where do we begin? Well, first of all, it's available right now, at least this preview 2.0 is available on the Huawei watch and LG's Watch Urbane 4G LTE. I have 8names watch. Otherwise, it's not available on anything else. Again, it is a developer preview, so it's going to be buggy and all of that stuff. But if you own one of those two devices, you can certainly flash this, play with it, and get ready for a release that we're assuming is coming later this year in the fall. In terms of what's new, so Google's really changed the way you sort of navigate and interact with the watch. They're also changing and adding more complications to watch faces. And they've changed the look. So cards look different. Well, they're not really cards now. They're just pages of notifications. But we wanted to take you through this, show you exactly what's going on. So one of the big things here is the button. So physical buttons, I think, are going to be a really big part. If a watch doesn't have those, we're not exactly sure how interaction is going to work. But I'll show you what I mean by that. So one of the things, though, if we swipe down the top, instead of that paginated, terrible experience we had in the past, we now have essentially just a one panel pull down that has, your brightness, which you can adjust really easily, and it does an overlay for you and everything, so you can really get into that. You do have your quick settings button right there, so you no longer have to flip through all those pages to get into settings. You'll notice, though, to go back, I'm no longer swiping. I'm actually clicking that button. So whenever you're in a screen, you no longer do the left to right swipe. You can see that doesn't work at all. You actually just click the button, and that will take you back one page. So just something to get used to. We're so used to the swiping constantly to navigate. That's changed a little bit here. So speaking of swipes, you used to swipe this way, and you can see that's doing some different things there already in order to get into your contact page and your app drawer, app list. Now, when you're at your home screen, you actually click that physical button, and that takes you into your app screen. So paginated sort of takes advantage of the roundness by showing this curve and then highlighting the app that you can choose. You can actually flick scroll through here to get through a big list of apps if you have them. You still have your recent apps up at the top, and they're labeled as recent before then it gets into the alphabetized approach. So not completely different, but it's just sort of a different look. To get back to your main screen then, I'll show you that again. If you're here to get back, again, you just click the button, it takes you back. So just again, a little bit different there. But you'll notice as I'm swiping, though, left to right, it kind of keeps taking me into this watch face page. So in the past, you used to long press and hold for a few seconds, and that would take you into sort of your watch face chooser. Now you just do this sort of either left to right mini swipe or right to left mini swipe, and it gets you in. And from here, you can choose between watch faces. One thing I do like so far is that they're not listing every single watch face. These are essentially your favorites. So if you tap on this plus button over here, it then takes you into a screen that shows you all of your watch faces, and you can choose one if you want. So I can choose that, and now it's listed in my favorites. And so you don't have that constant massive list every time you go in here to change a watch face. You just kind of have your favorites. If you don't want one in there, you can actually just swipe that away. It goes away. You can add more, remove more, whatever you want to do. So one of the other big things, though, is complications. There's a complications API, I believe, and in order to take advantage of that, we're going to need developers to start jumping on that, which is probably mostly why this is already in preview. So complications are little bits of information you can add to a watch face. We've seen these in other watch faces that build those in, but Google's trying to make basically this complications API to allow you to add this stuff to every single watch face if you want. So for the preview, they've built one, and it is called Elements Analog. There's also Elements Digital. But so to get into the complications, you swipe and then you hit your little gear icon down here. You can see there's a complication chooser or a style chooser. So style chooser is really just changing the colors of this particular watch face, but complications are important. So they're giving us 4 spots: left dial, right dial, upper slot, and lower slot. And then you can also even change background with an image if you want. But left dial, pretty simple. You can leave it as empty if you don't want anything there. Or this is where you're going to see a list of other apps that have complications available. Right now, Android Wear is pretty much it. But let's say I want to do step count over there on the left. So I choose that, and then that should pop up. There we go. So there's step count, and you can see I already have battery down here on the bottom. But let's say I want something over on the right. So choose right dial, choose from the list that I want to play with, and let's just put date in there. So now I have a date in there. See, you know, this isn't rocket science. Complications add information to your watch screen or your watch face, and you know, we'll get more of those once developers sort of get on board and start building those out. But that's just a look at sort of the change there. In terms of cards, so you still swipe up to get to cards, and you can swipe left to right to get rid of them. But you can see the UI looks quite different here. So here's Hangouts conversations. Here's one I'm having with myself. Here's an email. And so all of these things do sort of look very different. So we can tap on one, takes you into sort of a preview of that email. You'll then get some interactive options, like I can say done, and it should then archive that. Or if I can swipe back up into that email. So, or if you scroll through it and you actually do a bigger swipe from the bottom, you get even more options, sometimes reply all, sometimes done. I'll actually, and this is where it's going to differ. Instead of swiping to go back screen, you actually, again, do tap that button. Let's just go to this conversation that I'm having with myself for the purposes of this video. You can see in Hangouts, you have, you know, more sort of canned options, including emoji, but you can swipe up and get to reply, or even view conversation is what that says there. So, and we'll swipe back up into that. So if I type reply though, or tap on reply, we have voice replies, emoji drawing replies, or yes, there actually is a keyboard over here, and it does have gesture typing. So you could type, this is awesome. Even if you don't think typing on a watch is awesome, that is there. And then I can actually tap the little check, and it will send that. And you can see I already sent that in a previous take. So that's there, but you can just overall tell that there's a pretty big difference in how cards look. So they just have a different UI to them these days. And again, you can swipe them away, and that'll make them go away. Tap back into them, all of that stuff. You guys sort of get that. So interacting a bit different, but it's still Android Wear. I think you'll be familiar with it. You'll just have to get used to the new look. One thing that's really hard to show you on video is when you do get a new notification come in, it'll sort of ping you with this little mini icon down at the bottom, and then that'll hide. So instead of that half card overlay you used to get, you sort of now just get a quick ping and it goes down. Now, when you pick your watch back up to look at it, it should show again to remind you that you have notifications there. And that's sort of what we're looking at so far. They've added some features, changed the look of things, changed the way things navigate. But that's pretty much it for now. So if you guys have comments, questions, or want to see anything else, we can certainly show you that. And again, you can flash the preview now if you want on a Huawei watch or LG's watch, Urbane LTE. Questions, let us know. We're Droid Life. Peace.